Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we'll be looking at Showmaker'S Kassadin. So Kassadin is a champ that I really recommend you guys picking up for your champion pools because there's games like this where he's really good. So things to consider when you pick Kassadin, obviously like the difficulty of your lane, how many AP champs they have, and also what targeted CC they have. So if you look at this, the only targeted CC on their team is Pantheon, and pretty much all the other CC is avoidable. So a champion like Kassadin that has a lot of mobility but does need to play like sort of close to the enemy team, the less targeted CC there is on the enemy team, the better. Now it's going to be a level 1 fight here. I'm going to see what happens. I can maybe pick up an assist on the Pantheon, but Lilia died, so the game's already in a pretty nice spot. Yeah, it looks like that guy is going to get out. I'll put the runes and the build up on the screen if you guys want to watch, if you guys want to copy it, because it is kind of interesting. He's gone for the spellbook Kassadin instead. So I think the reason for this is at the moment, like, you can kind of get away with not having the extra sustain in fleet. You can just have second wind and Doran shield, and normally that's enough, especially because like a lot of the meta mids at the moment aren't super strong lane bullies, and even the ones that are, like Victor, like a lot of the time they'll be running first strike instead of Airy, right? So there's not as much like early game troubles that Kassadin kind of needs to deal with. Also, if you remember, Kassadin actually got a buff to his Q shield, so that's a lot of extra kind of like HP or like damage mitigated, I guess, that converts into HP. So in the early game as Kassadin, there's not much you can do aggressively. You can put some Qs on your opponent, especially once you get 2 points in it. But for the most part, you're looking to just try last hit as many creep as possible. That being said, if you are forced into queuing every creep, it's normally bad. Like what you want to do is kind of queue your opponent and then auto the creep, as you saw he did there. Because if you don't, like your opponent will just like look to zone you off pretty much every creep. So you can see here, despite playing a champ that is weak early, is going for a little bit of harass back, and most importantly, like buying himself some space with which to CS. If you never even hit your opponent, it's going to be very difficult for you to even walk up to the wave because your opponent will just zone you, force you to use all your cooldowns to CS. But if you can use your spells on your opponent like this, you can see actually buying like a lot of space for himself here, and has the Doran shield second wind sustain. So is able to stay in lane, and actually is going to get like a pretty nice like wave state here. The wave crashes, has quite a bit of gold. Might go for the base. Yep, so likely going to pick up a tier. Yep, so gets the tier, TP's back. So this is like really good for Kassadin, obviously. If you can get through this kind of like early game phase without your team really like falling behind and without you dying, it's very nice. Because I don't know, a lot of matchups, once Kassadin hits level 6, he really actually gains quite a lot of control, but before that, it's quite difficult. Yeah, actually, Kassadin zoning off a Victor off CS in the early game looks sort of funny, but just honestly, player difference right now. Showmaker's played the lane a lot better than Victor has, and so is actually even CS and has a lot of control. Takes a tower shot. Did take a little bit of damage there, but mainly just trying to stop this Victor from basing. Doesn't want him to get lost chapter. Now, running to a fight here, Kassadin has priority over Victor again. Very strange situation, but gets the flash E and picks up the kill. Maybe this. Okay. So that's pretty good. Obviously, he gets a couple kills there, so you can see that Victor kind of like greeting for his base, trying to stay in lane as long as he can to get lost chapter, has kind of punished him. I don't think it should ever be that Kassadin is getting priority over a strong early game champ like Victor. So that is... Oh. I guess Victor has given up on the game. Actually, has flash TP'd on the spot. Okay, I guess Victor is not too happy with the current state of affairs. But wait, is this actually going to lead to Kassadin's death? Is that guy big brain? I mean, that guy's just a genius. Actually, is going to get out. Imagine if that had worked, though. Holy shit. Okay, I guess Victor's mental state was a little fragile, given that Kassadin got a kill on the roam there, but now... Ooh, now he misses the bubble. Okay, well, I mean, the game's going to go back to normal, but I'm not sure if I can forget what just happened. Very interesting. So, yeah, but Kassadin's in a pretty good spot now, although Victor is quite strong at the moment. Like, did get the lost chapter base, and Kassadin is going to have to try find a window to base here without TP, so it is going to be kind of difficult to find a good base. Probably has to accept the wave pushing away a little bit. This fight looked like... Oh, now missed another bubble. Maybe if you get the honey fruit, can stay in lane here, actually. Spending a lot of time, but I'm not sure yeah, probably just going to push top. I guess Aurelia can catch mid, so this actually sort of works out. Kassadin King base here, but it wasn't the best roam, like, didn't get a lot for it. So, coming back on the map, Aurelia left the waves, Kassadin's going to farm it. I have the Lost Chapter now, and I think at this point in the lane, especially once you hit level 7, should be able to trade pretty favorably, although looking at the mini-map right now, I guess I should go on to Kassadin's vision, but looking at the mini-map from the little spoiler we just saw, Victor's seems to be running bot, so we'll see if he actually commits to that. Yeah, I think Victor probably has given up on the game a little bit, which is interesting because I don't think the game is over by any means, but it is in a bad state, like, don't get me wrong. But having a 4-1 Fiora means, like, the game would definitely be winnable. So pushing this in, probably just look for, like, wards and tower plates, although it has the sweeper, so just gonna hit tower plates. Can't get any deep wards, obviously. Victor comes back mid. Although Victor is very, very behind now. Level 6 versus level 7, and Kassadin's already at the point where he's kind of outscaled the matchup. At this point in the matchup, guys, you should play really, really aggressive. Like, there's not many champions, AP champs, that can trade back into Kassadin after, like, around level 7. Like, once you have, like, 3 points in Q and you're starting to get points in E, you do a lot of damage, and you're just very, very tanky. You know, there's a lot of champions that can bully you pre-6, but then as soon as you hit 6, the dynamic completely changes, and they can't really play the game anymore. So that's worth thinking about, because, you know, you are normally going to fall a little bit behind in CS in the pre-6, but as long as you don't die, you should be able to start winning post-6, but I still see a lot of people play Kassadin post-6 quite safe, and that shouldn't really be the case. But bases, TP's back to lane, very, very strong now. I don't think there's anything Victor can do. Kassadin can probably ult on top of him, and Victor doesn't really have any trade, especially given that Victor just used all his spells aggressively. So this is another thing that you should be kind of careful of if you're losing a matchup, is if you push out the wave, like, one, you're using your cooldowns, so it's very easy for your opponent to trade on you, and also you're pushing the wave away from you. So generally, once you're losing a matchup like this, like Victor is, you probably shouldn't push out, because it's going to be very, very difficult for you. Like, if he does AFK farm on the tower, obviously it's not ideal, Kassadin will get to roam, but at least then, you know, you won't lose as much as he's losing now, losing a wave, losing a tower plate, stuff like that. Let's speed this up a bit. I don't think Kassadin can dive Victor. Yeah, don't think so. Maybe with Lee Sin, though. Could look for a dive. Had Nami around, so could probably trade on him, yeah. Nami has a lot of extra damage to this combo. Actually really like playing with Electrocute Nami. Feels pretty good. This guy's definitely diveable now. Okay. Does that hit him? Almost. He flashes. And yeah, okay, so Victor does get a shutdown, but it's not too important. Like, Kassadin's gonna mega outscale, and also, even if Victor gets a shutdown here, it's like, he's probably gonna get farmed anyway. You know, like, there's not many ways Victor can kind of just, like, ensure he's on the 10 CS PM here. He's kind of just, like, too far behind, although I guess right now he can kind of wave clear this tower and be fine, but it is going to be hard for him to really, like, use this, you know, because, like, unless you can stay on that 10 CS PM, even if you get shutdowns, a lot of the time it just doesn't really matter. Because if you look, like, yeah, Victor's still down, like, more than 1,000 gold, despite getting, like, that 700 gold shut, or no, I guess it was like a 400 gold bounty, something like that. So fighting for this is pretty low, but is also pretty strong, and, like, the enemy team is low as well. Pure parries. Yeah, this does not look like a good fight. Probably back out, although there are some low HP targets here. Okay, manages, ooh, very nice combo onto the Pantheon. This is something that Kassadin can do very well, is if the fight does get kind of split up like this, it's very easy. And here, like, they don't really have any CC left alive, so if he plays this well, could maybe look for something more, although Victor's a bit high on HP. Damn, nice combo. Wow, holy fuck. Lee played that so well. Damn, that was really impressive. Oh, that was really, really insane. Okay, so coming back mid, probably should look for a base somewhere here. Has 1700 gold. We'll maybe push one more wave and then look for the base. Yeah, so gonna push this in, and then should be a base straight after that. Although, actually might stay for the tower. Yeah, could stay for the tower with Nami behind him, so he's going to clean this up. It's actually going to try dive. Might have the damage. Almost. Oh, can Nami kill him? almost had the damage for that. Victor gets another kill, but yeah, they kind of don't really matter. Has overstayed a lot here, so gonna try, you know, grab this wave and not really lose anything for basing, but it is a little greedy and has kind of been on the map for a very long time. You know, 2.4k gold in the bank. Yeah, so finally get a base now. Maybe Aurelia's going top to deal with Yora. So we're going to run to the side lane. Probably doesn't want to farm those Krugs yet just because this wave is crashing. So like if you farm the Krugs, he would give up this wave. Another thing that you need to be like sort of careful of when you farm camps on the side lane is not farming camps at the expense of giving up waves. You really want to be able to do both. Otherwise, you're kind of just like losing gold overall. So yeah, make sure to have a look at the wave before you farm the camps. Kassadin's very, very strong on side lane. Fiora's dead. And he's very hard to gank, so you can always push the side lane very, very far, which means you can keep like your CS very, very high. You're probably going to see, you know, push this all the way in, and then either look at the tower or just drop like a pink ward in the enemy bot side jungle. So we'll see what happens here. Fiora kind of chasing, but no way she can catch Kassadin. Could have a look at that blue, but I think Fiora will stop him. She gonna have a look at this Ezreal instead. Huh, Ezreal dies. Fiora's doing the blue. Maybe Kassadin can go steal it. Let's have a look. Okay, Fiora's coming back to mid, although I don't think she saw Kassadin here. It's possible they get the kill on her, because they have a lot of kiting between Lucian and Kassadin. Yeah, Fiora's kind of getting kited out. Looks like she's dead. Yep. So very difficult for Fiora to play against these two champs, honestly, unless she's like really, really fed, but she's not. She doesn't have the items yet to where she's like super, super strong. Yeah, I think we'll probably go back to the bot wave shortly. Actually going back in, gets the kill. Gonna go for the mid tower. There is a big bot wave to grab. Will we see him go to that? Could also go Raptors as well. There's actually a lot of farm up on the map, so would like to see some of that taken. Kind of just feels like playing team deathmatch at the moment. Having this Nami quickscope. Ooh, did lose the 1k, so kind of bad. I think he was kind of just like playing around, but there was a lot of gold that could have been picked up there. You know, there's a bot wave that was farmable the whole time. The Raptor camp also was farmable. Gonna TP back on the map, so TPing top, something that you guys would have seen in Chovy's Ornn video. If you do get opportunities to TP, like just take them. There's no sense in holding your TP for the entire time. Now that is different if you're playing like a pure split pusher. If you're playing something like Fiora, or you know like Camille, it's very important that you do have your TP up to kind of give you permission, just to keep split pushing. But if you're playing these champs that are kind of gonna like push and then move, like most mid lane champs, you want to just be finding opportunities to use your TP, because most of the time you're just not really going to find it. So looks like Pantheon maybe a bit AFK, but did do a lot of damage back to Kassadin. And that's actually worth noting, is that remember that this Pantheon is the only targeted CC in the team, so you know, all the other CC is pretty avoidable, but this is actually quite hard to deal with. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Looks like Dragon will be the next objective. He's just kind of one-shotting people, although it gets really, really low, and so is Lucian. Maybe could actually stay on the map here, I think. I was going to say could go Honeyfruit in top tower, but it looks like Lee's going to go for top tower, so Kassadin's just going to base instead. And Lee can get top. Again, contesting Dragon here, it almost doesn't matter. It's not really a win condition for either team. Like blue team's 3 dragons away, red team's 4 dragons away. So if this dragon goes down, but you instead trade like top tier 1, top tier 2, it's actually worth a lot more gold, even if they get the objective bounties. So that's one thing that you guys can definitely look to trade. Especially if you're playing like a scaling champ like Kassadin, you don't have to fight these dragon fights. Obviously, if you can win the dragon fight, it's good, right? But if there is a bunch of stuff that you can get instead, definitely take it, because it's a lot of gold. Oh my god, gets the flash. Nice. No, this game looks pretty much GG'd, honestly. Like, I think Kassadin's too far ahead. There's also a 17 kill Lee Sin. Maybe gonna get the Honeyfruit. Could do another bot wave. Oh, coming mid. Actually has fallen kind of far behind on CS, but like, the whole game is not really farming. You know, the highest CS in this game is 160 CS at 20 minutes, so it's not really been a farming game, pretty much. Okay, coming back mid. Does have a good flank. This is something you should look for in Kassadin a lot. Just trying to find flank on their most valuable members. So like Victor and Ezreal, definitely the two most valuable targets on the team. Has a really nice flank for them. Gonna get CC'd by Pantheon, so really need to get out. Yeah, so guys, this is what you really have to be careful of. If you're thinking, like, before this fight, things you should think about, like, the two people you want to kill the most, Victor, Ezreal, and the person you need to be most careful of, or the targeted CC, like this Pantheon W. That's what you need to be super careful of. So I think ulting forward before Pantheon has used W is pretty scary, and then after that just kind of gets killed. So yeah, that's a pretty painful death, obviously. Like, if the enemy team was playing well, I think maybe they could come back, like, with their scaling. Oh my god, Aurelia just went insane. But yeah, that is something you should think about. Like, in general, I am going to do a guide on, like, team fighting, but some stuff you should consider are, like, what are the most threatening cooldowns, like, that you need to think about, and also who the most valuable targets are. If you consider those two things and kind of how you want to play around those things, like, do you need to find a flank on their carries, do you need to wait until Pantheon W is used, or whatever, you'll find fights go a lot better for you. That's another thing that's kind of come up in a lot of coaching sessions, is like, even when people play the early game and stuff quite well, you know, they farm well, it kind of doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you play a team fight really poorly, like, that's what solo queue is kind of ultimately decided by. You know, it pretty much always comes down to, like, a 5v5. Solo queue is not as much like macro based. It almost always comes down to, like, some dragon fight, some baron fight. So if you can play those really well, it kind of amplifies how you do in the rest of the game. And if you don't do those really well, then it means, like, a lot of the rest of the game kind of just goes to waste. If you're 10 kills, but then you play the fight really badly, you don't have the impact that a 10 kill player should have. And it's actually much, much lower. So here, it's going to do a lot of damage. Looking at this Victor, again, very valuable target. Has the Zhonya's, so could trade Zhonya's with Pantheon. Yeah, so, like, it goes in, gets the kill. Pantheon doesn't really have the opportunity to do anything because of the Zhonya's. So that's another thing, is that, like, items can kind of significantly change, you know, how the fights play out. So worth considering that as well. You know, stuff like Edge of Night, Zhonya's, a lot of that can change the game. So this game's pretty over. Like I said, Kassadin's a champ that I think is quite nice to have in your champ pool, because he doesn't take a ton of time investment. Like, he's relatively simple mechanically, and I think his playstyle also, it's very, like, it's another fundamental playstyle, right? Like, if you understand how Kassadin wants to play, it's fairly easy to play him. I guess the most difficult thing about Kassadin is probably the team fighting. Like, I think team fighting is not super easy on Kassadin, but if you understand team fighting at a high level, you can definitely do it. So that's all for this game, guys. Sorry that the Victor ended up trolling. Obviously, there's nothing I can do about it, but you can tell I don't pre-watch these games, right? I saw a Kassadin game like this. It was still a pretty good game to learn from, but, you know, when I saw Victor flash TP at, like, 5 minutes or whatever, I was like, oh no. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.